dad inspired me to have a career in magic. He did these homemade movies. He would call them crazy shots, and they all had a magical quality to them. They were kind of practical jokes, and sometimes I was the butt of the joke. I do a cups and balls routine that involves the element of sound. The steel balls came about because I found a steel ball bearing in my dad's toolbox. The magicians were impressed by the fact that I was fooling them with sight and with sound at the same time. Magicians, they're not often fooled because they know the secrets. And what you do is you sort of try to use that information against them. Fooling other magicians was a way of carrying on my father's life.
Please welcome Paul Gertner.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Allison, would you mind joining me at the table? I have a trick that you've never seen before, and I want you to see it up close.
I would love to.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now, Penn and Teller, it's a pleasure to be here, and I brought something special to show you. It might even look a little familiar, because I brought a deck of marked cards. You see, Allison, Penn and Teller know an awful lot about marked cards, and they would tell you that, of course, most magicians mark the cards on the back. However, I mark them a little differently. I mark them on the edge. Ooh. Yeah, see, you can see on the edge of the deck, it's like a little pattern, like a barcode pattern. There's information there, you just don't know how to read it. And I'm gonna teach you right now.
Oh, thank you.
Now, I actually marked each card with this permanent marker. And that's important because each card has a unique code on it, but it's permanent, and I can't alter it or change it in any manner. Now, if you take a look at the cards, Allison, I want you to confirm for everybody that all the cards are mixed up. In other words, they're not all the red cards here and black cards here.
Yes.
It's a shuffled pack of cards, right?
Yes.
And I'm going to begin by actually having you select a card.
Okay.
So now this works with any card in the deck. So I want you to choose one at random, so just say stop as I riffle the pack.
Stop.
Okay. Look at the card. Remember the name of the card, okay? And we'll let Penn and Teller see it. I'm going to place it in the pack. And normally at this point in a card trick, the magician squares up the deck and shuffles the card. Right, guys? Yeah, that's Magic 101. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to give these cards what we call an unshuffle. Now, it's the opposite of a shuffle. In fact, if you take a close look right here, I'm going to show you that you can see it looks like a shuffle, it sounds like a shuffle, but it's actually an unshuffle. And if you watch the marks on the edge of the deck, you'll see it starting to read unshuffled 4 times on the side of the pack. See? Because I've actually unshuffled these cards into 4 different groups. Hearts, clubs, spades, and diamonds, the 4 suits in the deck. Yeah. But if I give the cards another unshuffle, just like this, and you can see when I give the cards an unshuffle, it looks like a shuffle, it sounds like a shuffle, but it's not. That's an unshuffle. And in fact, take a look, it's now starting to read unshuffled 2 times on the side of the deck, because I've now separated all the high cards from all the low cards. Yeah. But it gets even more interesting if I give the cards one more unshuffle. And if I do it, I want you to stare at the edge of the deck and see if you can tell the moment that these cards become unshuffled. Wow. Oh, but Allison, if it says unshuffled, I have to prove it. Remember in the beginning I showed you they were all mixed up? Yeah. Take a look at them now, because from the ace through the king of hearts, of clubs, of diamonds, of spades, it's a completely unshuffled deck of cards. Thank you. Wow. Thank you. Now, oh, wait. There's one minor detail. In the beginning, you selected a card.
Yeah.
And it's somewhere here in this unshuffled deck. Now, I could look for your card face up, but they're all in sequence, perfect order. That wouldn't be too difficult to find, and besides, it probably wouldn't fool Penn and Teller. But if I found your card face down, it would be a little more impressive. For the first time, tell me and everyone else, what was the name of your card?
The King of Spades.
If I give the cards one more unshuffle, and if I rearrange almost every card in the pack, except for the top and bottom cards. I think I can hit it. And I did. There it is, your king of spades. Thank you. Thank you. Oh. Penn and Teller.
Yes.
Penn, I think it's pretty clear at this point. I can find any card in this deck I want to find. And I can also put these cards in almost any order I want them. Look, if I give them one more unshuffle, take a look at now. The cards have been separated, all the red cards and all the black cards. So there's really only one final question, answer, and that is, did I fool Penn and Teller? Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Gertner. That was incredible. Oh my God. Now, that is a trick that you know Penn has asked you about or read your book about?
That's the tricky part. Penn bought my book a number of years ago to learn that trick. In fact, I saved his email.
Aww.
I still have his email.
Oh, that's so cool. So you did a trick that you know Penn knows.
Yes, that's true, but there was a little twist at the end that I think might have made them smile.
Okay, and now how do you come up with like the little change? Are you just like driving down the street and you're like, wait a second,
No,
I got it?
That took about 10 days of thinking and about another week of preparation and then another week showing it to the top sleight of hand artist in the world, okay, on video to say, is this gonna work?
Yes.
Keep my fingers crossed here, I don't know.
All right, that was a wonderful performance. Let's see what Penn and Teller think.
Okay.
Gentlemen, with the notebooks.
I want to say first, before we get to the hard part, I am a huge fan of Paul Gertner's, huge fan.
Penn, did you hear him? You were deliberating, but he saved your email that you wrote him years ago.
Well, I did buy the book from him and worked forever, and I'm not going to even give one word of how that's done because he knows that I read the book, he knows I worked on it, and I think he also knows I failed. I never got good enough at it to perform it. But I'm not dead yet. Okay. I'm going to keep working. So it's only the ending we're talking about. When the Penn and Teller comes into view at the end, it kind of blew our minds. And we think it's the same deck of cards he started with. I'll also go out with that. We don't think he did anything big and gross on that, even though he's got a table the size of an apartment.
Yeah, that's true. I could have.
We don't think he did anything there. So we then have two choices for what he did, and I'm going to ask this in two different ways. One is, can we look at the cards?
Can you mean look at the cards that
you used? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they'll tell you something, but not all of them. Sure.
Because we think I'll tell you before this.
Look at Teller's face.
Well, it says Penn and Teller
inspecting the props
pretty clearly, and if we do that and we do that,
Teller looks
we
very
get nothing,
excited.
and we do this.
Hello.
Yeah, well, actually, it does. We did learn something from this deck. I don't know if you can see the angle on this, Paul, but if you look, I don't want to screw up your whole deck, but if I do a shuffle like this, I want you to just watch the edge. I think you'll see it come into focus. It says, Paul Gertner, you fooled us. Can you see that? Can you see that? Let me get the exact right angle. Can you see the right angle? Amazing. Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thanks, Penn.
Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Gertner.